today's episode, we'll discuss John Rawls and his theory of justice and how he proposed that we achieve justice through the original position using something called the veil of ignorance. So in this episode, we'll discuss what is John Rawls' theory of justice and fairness, how was law to be passed according to his theory, criticisms against his theory, and what is its relevance today. Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. In this channel, we explore the fascinating world of law with an emphasis on the more philosophical questions like what is law and why do we follow the law. Today, let's discuss John Rawls and his revolutionary ideas on what is law. Let's get started. John Rawls was a leading American philosopher who lived from 1921 to 2002. His book, A Theory of Justice, published in 1971, discussed his thesis on justice and fairness. What did he really mean when he said justice and fairness? And what does the veil of ignorance have to do with passing law? Rawls argues that a just society is not one where the rules simply benefit the majority or the strongest of society. Essentially, he's directly criticizing Bentham and utilitarianism, which suggests that a society must do what does the greatest good for the greatest number. You can check out my full explainer on utilitarianism by clicking on the link which is on the pop-out up here, or by clicking on the link which is on the description below. Now instead, Rawls believes that a just society is one where the rules are designed fairly from a standpoint of equality and neutrality before anyone knows who they'll be in society. This is where Rawls's thought experiment comes into play. Rawls speaks of something called the original position. This is where he asks us to imagine that we are designing rules and laws for a society, but before we do, we step behind what he refers to as the veil of ignorance. Imagine you're yet to be born. Your spirit is hovering over the country waiting to be born. Most importantly, you don't know what circumstances you will be born into. You don't know what your race, gender, sexual orientation will be. You don't know what your wealth, social status, and education level will be. You don't know what your intelligence level, skills, physical strength, mental capacity will be. You don't know what your religion and political beliefs will be. And you don't even know whether you will be in the minority or majority, privileged or disadvantaged, among other things. In other words, you know nothing about your identity or your social status in this country. You're just a rational human being designing laws that you might have to live under just like anybody else. In such a context, what kind of laws would you be comfortable passing? When you pass law from this stance, you are passing law from the original position. This thinking, according to Rawls, will ensure one thing. You would design the most just and fair rules possible, especially for the most vulnerable classes, because you could end up being born as the weakest, poorest, or most vulnerable person in your society. This is Rawls's key idea. Justice should not depend on power and privilege, but on fairness agreed upon by equals. Rawls believes that laws should be created by lawmakers by considering themselves to be behind the veil of ignorance. That means lawmakers should avoid creating laws that disproportionately benefit a certain group, consider how laws impact the least advantaged members of society, create rules that would be acceptable to everyone before knowing what their status in life will be. This leads Rawls to develop two principles of justice. Number one, the liberty principle. Everyone should have the maximum possible freedom as long as it doesn't infringe on the freedom of others. These basic liberties include the freedom of conscience, expression, association, and political rights. Number two, the difference principle. Social and economic inequality should only be allowed if they benefit the least advantaged members of society. This principle ensures that any inequality works to improve the position of those who are worst off. So according to Rawls, a law is only justified if it supports equal basic freedoms and any inequality it creates improves the conditions of the poorest. This is a radical shift from traditional views of jurisprudence, especially things like utilitarianism, which believes in doing the greatest good for the greatest numbers. Utilitarian thinking doesn't ensure that the most vulnerable in society are protected. Instead, it protects the interests of the majority of society. This is why Rawls is referred to as an egalitarian. Egalitarianism is a school of thought that emphasizes equality as a fundamental value. Egalitarianism advocates for equal access to resources, education, and opportunities to ensure fairness and reduce social and economic disparities. It often stresses that inequalities should be minimized and can only be justified if they benefit everyone, especially the least advantaged. While a powerful idea, Rawls' theory has been met with several criticisms. Number one, unrealistic assumptions. Rawls asks people to imagine they don't know anything about themselves, their race, wealth, skills, when deciding what's fair. Critics say that this is unrealistic because people do know all these things and that practically affects their decision making. Number two, overemphasis on individualism. Others think Rawls focuses too much on individual rights and freedoms and not enough on community and social bonds. Number three, insufficient incentives. There's a concern that giving resources to the least advantaged might discourage people from working hard and trying to be excellent. Number four, does not reward the deserving. Some say Rawls doesn't pay enough attention to what people deserve based on their effort or talent. Number five, redistribution of efficiency. Finally, some worry that too much redistribution could slow down the economy by taking too much from the successful. Anytime someone asks, would this law be fair if I didn't know who I'd be? They are using Rawls' thinking. His thinking helps us to think of fairness when making social rules, especially protecting the basic rights of everyone. It also reminds us to care about the least advantaged people in society and try to improve their situation. Rawls' theory supports equal opportunities for everyone, regardless of their status and conditions in life, which are important in debates about education, healthcare, and jobs. It provides us a way to balance freedom and equality in a way that fits the modern democratic societies. His approach influences policies like progressive taxes and social welfare programs aimed at reducing inequality. In a world filled with political division, inequality, and debates about justice, Rawls provides us with a simple guiding principle: make laws as if you could be anyone. This idea remains powerful, maybe now more than ever. And that's a wrap on John Rawls and the theory of justice. So what do you think? Do you think the veil of ignorance makes sense? Let me know in the comments below. Check out the video on screen next to understand more about utilitarianism, which is all about doing the greatest good for the greatest number. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.